Now, it's time to have a good, satisfying fight. The profound Nether Demon Lord coldly glanced at the fallen Angel King in the distance. His withered hands slowly emerged from under his black robe, covered in countless chilling demonic runes. Suddenly, endless dark demonic light surged from his palms, flickering at his fingertips like a fierce thunder fox, radiating terrifying energy ripples. Seeing this, the fallen Angel King's body began to boil with overwhelming fallen power, and even a flash of divine aura flickered briefly within him. A true battle was about to erupt. The two leaders, one the supreme powerhouse of the sacred clan with strength already reaching the later stages of the 9th reincarnation stage, and the other the fallen Angel King of the Netherworld, who not only fused the divine pure power of the Angel Queen but also possessed the special fallen power, had terrifying combat strength at the mid-level of the 9th reincarnation stage. At this moment, the two leaders of their respective armies were both extremely dangerous. During the Battle of the Reincarnation Sea, the extraterritorial evil clan suffered heavy losses, enraging their leader. This time, in the Netherworld War, they mobilized nearly half of the entire extraterritorial evil clan's strength. If they failed again, they could not even imagine the cruel consequences they would face. The Netherworld is not a place for you to run wild. Despite the overwhelming power and numbers of the enemy's army, the fallen Angel King showed no sign of fear in his eyes. Behind him, 10 pairs of wings, glimmering with dark hues, fluttered, and dozens of fallen angels suddenly appeared from the void, like arrows released from a bow, swiftly charging into battle with the enemy. The god of death, seeing this, also sneered coldly. He swung his massive scythe, summoning endless legions of the undead below, and the two armies clashed in a violent and brutal melee. In an instant, the entire border of the Netherworld was filled with unprecedented scenes of apocalyptic warfare. The wails of ghosts and howls of wolves filled the air, as the sounds of battle turned the place into a hellish, tragic scene of Xun'er hell. The battle began with two supreme experts from the evil army leading the charge. The pitch-black, demonic light, like a meteor, howled across the sky. Wherever it passed, the dark matter in the void slightly dissipated. A force of annihilation accompanied the figure of the profound Nether Demon Lord, who was faintly visible, rapidly approaching the fallen Angel King. Many fallen angels and undead soldiers below had already engaged with the enemy's evil army, and the fallen Angel King knew that in a battle at the 9th reincarnation stage, even an exceptionally gifted 8th reincarnation stage powerhouse would only be cannon fodder. The outcome of this war would ultimately depend on the four of them. Fallen feathers. As he watched the movements of the profound Nether Demon Lord, an emotionless, cold-killing intent emerged from the fallen Angel King's mouth. His angelic wings behind him fluttered, and terrifying attacks began to condense before him. The pitch-black fallen power, along with a trace of pure white divine power and a faint demonic energy, combined as he swung his wings. Suddenly, 3 beams of celestial light filled with profound powers shot toward the profound Nether Demon Lord. These 3 beams contained entirely different powers: pure divine light, the vengeful wrath of fire, and deep, mysterious, albeit faint demonic power. Annihilate! Suddenly, a mad laugh echoed in the void, and the withered hands of the profound Nether Demon Lord appeared out of nowhere. Under the fallen Angel King's gaze, he silently grasped the 3 beams of celestial light. In the blink of an eye, the beams shattered completely. It was as if the power within the 3 beams held no restraint over the profound Nether Demon Lord. Back then, outside the ruins of the Angel Kingdom, we fought. After all this time, your moves have not changed at all. Now, it seems you are no longer capable of withstanding me. Dark light surged, and the profound Nether Demon Lord reappeared in front of the fallen Angel King, only a few meters away. A cold, contemptuous smile spread across his lips. Just a defeated foe. After his attack was completely nullified by the profound Nether Demon Lord, the fallen Angel King's face twisted into a chilling, eerie smile. The profound Nether Demon Lord was none other than a former ally who had attacked the Angel Kingdom alongside the Earth Protector. Back then, he was only at the 8th reincarnation stage, and was responsible for leading the army to feign an attack on the Night Order outside the Angel Kingdom, drawing their attention. At that time, the fallen Angel King had already defeated him. By the way, there's something I forgot to mention. Judging by the time, the previous Angel Queen has already been completely erased by the Slaughter Angel and the Earth Protector. It seems your last wish will never be fulfilled. Feeling the unchanged expression of the King of Fallen Angels, the profound Nether Demon Lord suddenly had a flash of realization, unable to suppress a mocking smile. As soon as the words left his mouth, the profound Nether Demon Lord tore off his black robe, revealing a face covered in countless evil patterns. His sinister eyes locked onto the King of Fallen Angels, as though he wanted to witness the fear and anger in the other's pupils with his own eyes. Only by defeating him in that way could he truly redeem himself. You're asking for death. When the King of Fallen Angels mentioned the previous Angel Queen, his face twitched slightly. The chilling dark power immediately enveloped his wings of an angel, and waves of terrifying force slowly cascaded down from the fallen wings. This power wasn't just eerie and evil. It was even more mysterious and profound than the malevolent power of the extraterritorial evil clan. As it swung, the profound Nether Demon Lord's expression subtly changed. The overwhelming power of the fallen emanated, and the pitch-black demonic feathers fell off the wings of an angel. Faintly, they formed an inconspicuous black feather formation in the world, as if it contained a terrifying fluctuation that surpassed the heavens and earth. Two streams of black light crossed the sky, then collided violently. The tremendous energy wave surged outward from the sky, its ferocity causing both combatants to change color. The black lightning arcs and black feathers seemed to hold each other in a deadlock for a moment, neither side able to break through. On the other side, the battle between the Death God and the 9E Netherlord was also evenly matched. After all, the Death God was in the early stage of the 9th reincarnation stage, while the 9E Netherlord had reached the terrifying mid-stage of the same realm. However, as time passed, numerous doubts began to rise in the 9E Netherlord's eyes. Based on the extraterritorial evil clan's knowledge of the Death God, his power clearly originated from the Hell Realm. Why, then, was there a strange aura within the Death God's body that felt unfamiliar to him? The Death God's power couldn't cause any tangible harm to him, but that faint aura within the Death God's body sent a shock through the evil energy in his own. Could this be the evil power mentioned by His Majesty the Domain Lord? Suddenly, as he watched the Death God fighting fiercely in the distance, a hint of shock gradually surfaced in the 9E Netherlord's deep gaze. At this point, why continue resisting? Corroding heaven nether sphere. Shaking off all his unease and doubts, the profound Nether Demon Lord's voice turned cold. His hand expanded dramatically, and in an instant, a dazzling sphere of energy shot out, forming some sinister and malevolent aura mid-air. There were no visible signs of distortion or collapse in the void, indicating that the space in this so-called Netherworld realm was sturdier than any other realm they had encountered before. Before the profound Nether Demon Lord, a massive blood-colored light sphere, several hundred meters in size, rapidly condensed. The blood-colored sphere was covered in countless despairing, foul auras. Crimson blood-red pupils, decaying skin, and mixed, disordered blood and flesh clung to its outer layer. Without giving the King of Fallen Angels a chance to react, the profound Nether Demon Lord's hand swung, casting the sphere toward the ground below. The sphere fell like a meteor, heading straight for the Netherworld surface under the watchful eyes of all. His target isn't us? The King of Fallen Angels' fallen wings flapped behind him, as though aligning with the fallen feathers left from his earlier battle, preparing some kind of trump card. But when he saw the enormous light sphere pass through the void beside him, his pupils involuntarily contracted. Not good. The moment his gaze followed the path of the blood-colored sphere, an overwhelming sense of unease surged in the King of Fallen Angels' mind. Looking into the distance, he saw the massive sphere opening countless crimson demonic eyes along its surface, as if each eye was a mouth greedily devouring the countless undead forces below. In an instant, the undead army, which had been gaining the upper hand in battle, descended into complete chaos. Countless undead creatures were devoured without struggle, while the evil fluctuations within the blood-colored sphere grew ever more intense. The extraterritorial evil clans, Sacred Clan Supreme Experts, are indeed formidable. Fallen. The success of this first battle depends on you. Book of Life and Death, Myriad Life Crossing. Seeing the dire situation, the death god twisted his body, his black robe billowing as he slowly raised his dark, ominous scythe, radiating a powerful death aura. The blood-red pages of the evil book eerily appeared above the scythe of the death god, and then transformed into countless black and white birthday flowers. They grew wildly in an instant, spreading everywhere as soon as they sprouted. Each flower of life and death was filled with an intoxicating fragrance, easily causing the extraterritorial evil clan's army to fall into a deep slumber, with half of them already unconscious. 9 Demon Claw. Witnessing this bizarre scene, the 9 Netherlord raised his jade hand, suddenly striking downward. A brilliant dark light enveloped his hand, tearing through the void with lightning speed, heading straight for the death god's vital point. Boom! The dazzling demon claw sliced through the air, crushing the realm of life and death conjured by the death god with ease, its power threatening the very life of the death god. In an instant, the profound nether demon lord regained control of the blood-colored orb that had devoured countless souls, and a wave of terrifying evil power surged from within it, making the very air tremble. Your strength is no match for us. It's over. The blood-colored orb beneath his feet continued to swell as the profound nether demon lord's eyes filled with contempt. He slowly smiled and said, "Scythe of the death god." Surrounded by swirling black mist, the death god released a terrifying ghostly wave of energy that radiated from his palm. Humph. There's no need to continue struggling. Feeling the death god's final desperate strike, the profound nether demon lord's expression remained indifferent. Just as he turned to look for the king of fallen angels, he found the space where the latter had stood was now empty. Stop them. These despicable fools. The 9 Netherlord glanced upward, seeing a massive pitch-black web materialize out of nowhere, completely enveloping them. You are celebrating too early. The cold voice of the king of fallen angels echoed from the heavens. A drop of nearly purple, otherworldly blood mixed with the black feathers, which began to fall from the sky. These feathers emitted an aura of divine holiness, a stark contrast to the darkness below. Power of the fallen, 7 slaughtering demon array. Even after embracing the path of corruption, the king of fallen angels still wielded the strength of the angel queen. With his fallen wings in motion, he conjured an enormous, pitch-black celestial net from thin air, wrapping the battlefield in a dark, oppressive force. The net was filled with rare, ancient seals from the angel kingdom, enhancing the darkness of the king's wings, as if he had taken control of the entire battlefield. Their power doesn't seem right. At that moment, the surging evil energy within the profound nether demon lord's body began to tremble. Witnessing the king of fallen angels' actions, the disdain in his heart was gradually replaced by unease. The realms of the Netherworld are not for just anyone to trample upon. You will pay the price for your ignorance. The profound nether demon lord's eyes narrowed sharply, and a killing intent, powerful enough to shock even the 2 holy clan powerhouses, slowly radiated from the king of fallen angels. The king's slightly ferocious face was now filled with an unprecedented madness. The bloodlust seeping from his body seemed to freeze the very air, and the undead creatures fighting the extraterritorial evil clan below suddenly stopped, standing motionless in place, not daring to make a sound. They knew that in the Netherworld, only the Darkness King and the Nether King held supreme authority. Boom! Even though the profound Nether Demon Lord tried to retreat, the King of Fallen Angels' all-out strike gave him no opportunity to escape. A blood-quickening hum spread across the battlefield. The battlefield was now completely covered by the 7 slaughtering demon array, which had taken form from the massive celestial net. As it neared the profound Nether Demon Lord, 10 black-feathered angelic wings spread wide. Under the Lord's intense gaze, The array transformed into a divine volcano erupting with sacred flames. The dark green demonic power, coupled with faint angelic holy essence, exploded into colorful, fiery waves. The entire battlefield trembled as immense cracks split open the netherworld ground, releasing holy power that quickly evolved into a scene of apocalyptic devastation. Move. We must withstand this attack. Fear and unease, like a chill running through both skin and soul, caused the profound nether demon lord's expression to change. He quickly turned to his subordinates. Among this destructive power, something unknown is mixed in. The formation began to operate, and all the forces within the world merged into a part of the demon-slaying formation. Countless energies of different attributes flew out, and the resulting waves caused the expressions of countless people to change drastically. The first battle in the Netherworld seemed to have already come to a conclusion. In the vast Netherworld, countless dark substances grew more intense, turning the entire world into a barren land surrounded by black dust and sand grains. From a distance, it sent a chill down one's spine. In this dim, lifeless place, within an unreachable height of the Netherworld, there seemed to be a pitch-black figure seated, towering above the heavens and earth. A mere glance upward at this grand sight could overwhelm anyone, causing them to faint in shock. It was a black nether wall, constructed entirely from dark liquid. Even from a great distance, just being within its shadow would induce an unprecedented terror that grew from the heart. "You, go back," a voice echoed from the towering wall. "I don't need any help here. If something happens to him, everything we've done will be in vain." Atop the magnificent nether wall, a man dressed in a black robe slowly spoke, as if murmuring to the void around the city wall. However, the black robe the man wore seemed alive, like an evil entity, silently devouring the man's life and even his soul. But, in response to the ruler's command, the powerful beings hiding within the void hesitated for a moment. They exchanged looks, unsure of how to proceed. Their existence stemmed from the Nether King, but without the help of the Darkness King's demonic power, they would not have attained the power of the 8th reincarnation stage, or even half a step into the 9th reincarnation stage. Now, with the Nether King sensing the impending calamity of the Netherworld, they were tasked with assisting the Darkness King in guarding the Nether Wall. The Nether King has his methods. The Celestial Lock Void Realm is entrusted to you 8. The man exhaled a deep breath, as if making a decision of great importance. The evil robe behind him brought his life to the brink of its end, and now, it seemed, all he could do was this. "As you command." With the command given, the 8 Death Lords began to move slowly, heading towards the center of Nether City beyond the wall. In Nether City, not only was the Nether King present, but so were several other formidable beings who had once saved the great Thousand Worlds from peril. This time, the calamity of the Netherworld would undoubtedly be far more severe than anyone had imagined. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, in the pitch-black void, piercing sounds of wind ripping through the air could be heard. For shadowy figures appeared 1,000 meters from the city wall. Then, they stepped into the void, their eyes fixed on the flawless nether wall, and the Darkness King guarding it. "Your Majesty, that person." The moment their gaze locked onto the Darkness King, a trembling voice emerged from one of the 4. This must be the Darkness King of the Netherworld." Even though protected by the strange black robe, one of the figures recognized the man instantly. Clearly, they had already gathered detailed intelligence on the Netherworld for this battle. Looking at the 4 figures cloaked in black robes, along with the evil elite forces advancing behind them, a rare arrogance appeared on the Darkness King's dark face. The Xiao clan's grudge. It's time to collect some interest from these guys. Peak of the 9th reincarnation stage. His strength is immense. A voice, ancient and silent until now, finally spoke. It was clear that the speaker had sensed the extreme power hidden within the Darkness King. Along with the flawless demonic power within him, the Darkness King's strength was likely far superior to ordinary peak 9th reincarnation experts, perhaps several times more terrifying. "We will intercept here. As long as the 2 of you, your majesties, can eliminate or capture the remnants of the Xiao clan, the Netherworld War will naturally resolve itself without the need for further combat. After discussing their course of action, the four shadowy figures made their decision. At this point, it seems there is no other choice. I hope the Nether King will be reasonable, or else this world might be destroyed for nothing. Move. As the words fell, the four figures leaped into the air, surrounded by a thick, malevolent aura, and quickly flew toward the void around Nether City's walls. To enter the core of the Netherworld, these walls had to be breached or jumped over. The Netherworld is a realm of death. To enter, one must fall. Watching the four figures attack with such fierce intent, the Darkness King slowly extended his hand from beneath his evil robe. The dark green thunderclouds thickened, and the Thunder Dragon, Thunder Beast, and the intensely evil demonic power surged, gradually turning the city walls into a hellish inferno. Anyone daring to step into this area would likely be torn apart without a chance to survive. Ryup. The demon breath, capable of overturning everything, surged with wild energy, causing the four sinister shadowy figures to show a flicker of surprise. However, just as they were about to make contact with the Thunder Nether Wall, two ancient black patterns, imbued with profound power, suddenly flashed and easily tore a rift in the Thunder Nether Wall. In a single leap, two figures stepped through the gap and made their way toward Nether City. A divine fluctuation? Watching the two shadowy figures rapidly disappear, the Darkness King felt a surge of unease and madness. It seemed that this journey to the Netherworld would be far more terrifying than the Nether King had anticipated. SSSS. To be able to battle against the legendary Darkness King of the Netherworld, it is indeed an honor for us. As the two most powerful figures entered the Nether Wall, the remaining two shadows gradually revealed their faces, grotesque and chilling. Are these the two guardians, Xin and Huang, of the four outer guardians? Mid-peak and late peak of the 9th reincarnation stage? The Darkness King smiled slowly as he looked at the two in front of him, easily discerning their true identities and strength. The realm of darkness, ravage it. In an instant, the evil black cloak behind the Darkness King expanded like a true demon, spreading countless strands of dark material. A vast dark domain immediately enveloped everyone. A sinister aura, chilling coldness, and multiple ominous energies surrounded them. Even though they knew they were still deep within the Netherworld, the Darkness King's display clearly sent them into some unknown realm of death. Within this dark domain, endless death and fear began to slowly infect the hearts of the powerful warriors. Let's do it. If we can kill him, the demonic power will be enough to bring us closer to that coveted realm. Clack, clack, clack. Even within the dark domain, the eyes of the two guardians were filled with an unusual madness. Now, in the Netherworld, the only beings with combat strength left were the Nether King. Although he was gifted, how could he, alone, stand against the two supreme beings of the extraterritorial evil clan? The Netherworld War seemed to have been destined for failure from the very beginning. The defeat of the Netherworld and the Great Thousand Worlds were hardly worth mentioning. Boom! The entire world erupted into chaos. The evil forces within it transformed into a violent wave of corpses, continuously crashing into the dark domain, attempting to break through the terrifying barrier. The evil clouds howled, and the corpse waves surged like a chasm. The terrifying fluctuations were enough to cause drastic changes in the expressions of countless people. Dark baptism. In response to the overwhelming attack from the elite forces of the evil army, the Darkness King stepped through the air, and massive dark green energy poured down from his evil cloak, surrounding him. Then, a series of ominous, eerie handprints formed, as mysterious seals changed, causing the entire dark domain to tremble. Boom! The irresistible dark tide spread outward from the dark domain. Waves of vast and overwhelming energy soon forced the elite forces of the evil army to retreat in defeat. Seeing this situation, Huang Hu slowly waved his hand, signaling the evil army to cease their assault. He knew that for the Darkness King, no matter how many evil forces there were, they were nothing but ants. They were simply not enough to kill him. Xin Demon Gate. As soon as Huang Hu's voice fell, the face of Xin Hu, filled with a murderous aura, began to twist. In the pitch-black void, a blood-red portal, 1,000 feet wide, began to slowly take form, spinning. The extreme evil energy continuously swirled around the portal, and an ancient aura quietly emanated from it. Evil ancient runes of the sacred clan? Looking at the blood-red portal that glowed ominously, a trace of disdain and anger surfaced in the Darkness King's previously indifferent eyes. The extraterritorial sacred clan was a force gathering the elite of the evil clan, and some of the ancient evil runes could even be traced back to the time of Xiao clan ancestor Xiao Tianyuan. Their power was self-evident. Huang Demon Gate. Crush them. Seeing the overwhelming attack from Xianhu, Huang, whose body surged with energy, and an immense, deathly, evil force shot out instantly. The two ancient, evil portals hovered on either side of the Darkness King. It was a pitch-black mask, only the size of a palm. The entire mask was surrounded by eerie, chilling demonic runes, each line seemingly a perfect creation. As they materialized, an overwhelming pressure was released from within. The Four Xian Demon Gate, Sunluo Death Mask. It's a pity that with just the two of you, you cannot unleash its true power. Faced with the intense murderous intent of the two guardians, the Darkness King threw his head back and laughed loudly. Then, a wisp of ink-green energy transformed into demonic flame and began to surround him. As if provoked by the challenge before him, the Darkness King was consumed with rage. The demonic flame surged like a fearless madman, and with the support of the realm of darkness, the Darkness King became increasingly terrifying, his presence blocking out the sun. Demonic flame. Without hesitation, the skies were filled with demonic flame falling from the Darkness King's body. The moment it spread, the entire realm of darkness trembled violently, and the world became darker and deeper. Sunluo Death Mask, swallow him. Facing this offensive, the two guardians exchanged glances before murmuring an ancient and complex incantation. Two evil gates slowly converged towards the Darkness King, closing in. The evil mask at the heart of the gates made the surrounding void tremble, as if the mask had torn space open from a faraway evil realm, bringing with it endless malice as it shot towards the Darkness King's body. Boom! The moment they collided, the entire world contracted before erupting in a sudden explosion. Spatial cracks, dizzying and disorienting, spread through the realm of darkness. The clash of their attacks had shaken the very foundations of the realm of darkness. The two gates and the demonic flame canceled each other out, but the evil mask continued to race towards the Darkness King, seemingly intent on killing him. The ancient evil runes within the mask seemed to resist the demonic flame's corrosion, easily reaching the Darkness King's front. Humph! Seeing the mask approach, the Darkness King showed no fear. Instead, the evil robe behind him exuded an unprecedented sense of dread. Then, under the gaze of countless evil powerhouses, the Darkness King extended an arm covered in demonic runes and grabbed the mask, placing it onto his face. Whir. As soon as the evil mask adhered to the Darkness King's face, the dark green glow around him boiled as though he had encountered a power that made him tremble in fear. The demonic runes within his skin, flesh, and even bones began to disappear, consumed by the mask's insatiable hunger, flowing continuously into the mask. As more and more demonic runes were absorbed, visible cracks appeared across the perfect surface of the mask. He's forcing the demonic power out of his body? At that moment, Huang Hu, one of the guardians, felt his mouth dry, and even his heart trembled. According to the words of the Outer Realm's leader, the Darkness King was the creator of the demonic power. Why then, was he stripping it away? Was he unable to control this power despite his talent? This madman. Unlike Huang Hu, when Xian Hu, the other guardian, saw the Darkness King's actions, an unprecedented madness appeared on his face. So, this is your strongest combat power. The next moment, the Darkness King, standing in the sky, moved slightly. The evil mask on his face shattered instantly, and countless evil forces, along with the demonic runes it had absorbed, poured into the evil robe behind him. Suddenly, at the end of the sky in the realm of darkness, gray cloud tombs began to surge. From a distance, they appeared no different from regular clouds. But as they heard the Darkness King's dismissive tone, the Guardian's pupils widened in shock. The gray cloud tombs were no ordinary things. They were demonic runes, the result of a twisted collaboration between the evil mask and the demonic power. Within these tombs, countless resentful spirits, death cries, and other demonic beings lingered, continuously releasing a thick, oppressive aura of death. These are the Darkness King's ultimate support. In an instant, Xian, who realized that the gray cloud tombs contained the Darkness King's most humble servants, skeletons, spirits, and ghastly entities enhanced by his demonic power. With just this, the Darkness King could likely challenge even the Doshan. What a monumental, destructive force this must be. The Dark King's body surged with energy as his gaze drifted far into the distance, staring at the edge of the Netherworld, where countless distinct auras could be felt. A trace of satisfaction flashed in his eyes. Though these auras were weak, they carried with them a sense of familiarity. His body was soon enveloped by the gray cloud curtain, eyes fixed below on the tiny figures of the two protectors and the evil army. The overwhelming might emanating from him tore through countless voids, casting an immense threat over all life in the area. Even without the demonic power he had once wielded, with just his current strength, the two protectors before him stood no chance. Had it not been for the binding force of the evil robe, his power would have far surpassed even the reincarnation realm, and these two mere evil experts could never have posed a threat. What troubled him most now were the two powerful figures who had crossed the nether wall and entered the rear. Even he was slightly moved by their strength. The power of the Nether King was certainly unfathomable, yet the Dark King still felt an unsettling premonition in his heart. At this point, his life no longer allowed him to engage in battles of such magnitude. The earlier separation, the stripping away of the demonic power from his body, seemed only to have been for the creation of the perfect evil robe, to find the most suitable heir. This, perhaps, was the extent of what the Dark King could achieve now. As soon as Xiao Yin and the other three forces stepped into the boundary of the Netherworld, the Dark King knew that the war of the Netherworld was far from ordinary. His every move seemed to be foreseen, as if there was already a plan in place for the future. Within the gray cloud curtain, the vast demonic power and demonic creatures churned restlessly, like an endless, unfathomable ocean. The two protectors, seeing this, narrowed their eyes, and in the depths of their dark gazes, a sharp and resigned expression appeared. The recent attack had only been a minor skirmish, but the Dark King's strength far exceeded their expectations. Against such a powerful being, there was no chance of victory with just the two of them. As long as we destroy the evil robe he wears, the Dark King will collapse on his own. After a brief moment of hesitation, a twisted, sinister expression appeared on the Xian protector's face. The time had come to act. Good. The two exchanged a glance, using all their strength to try to fight back against the Dark King. Blood sacrifice, shadow of the sacred emperor. The dark realm suddenly darkened completely, and even the gray cloud curtain surrounding the Dark King fell silent in an instant. Countless demonic creatures, once eager to devour the evil army, now cowered in fear as they rushed into the cloud curtain, as though the attack being unleashed by the two protectors was a heart-rending, destructive wave. The two protectors spat out a mouthful of hot, evil blood, which then transformed into countless complex, long-lasting evil runes, violently filling the void. In the blink of an eye, an immense wave of evil energy spread out from the point where their blood met. A gigantic, ethereal figure slowly manifested, causing the demonic creatures within the dark realm to tremble with fear. The demons on the edges of the cloud curtain instinctively retreated rapidly. That power was beyond anything they could resist. Commander of the sacred clan, shadow of the heavenly demon sacred emperor? That's our emperor. This time, victory is certain. The evil army behind the two protectors roared in unison upon seeing the evil figure, their voices deafening. It seemed the two protectors had long prepared for this. Humph. A mere ant that my Xiao clan has beaten half to death countless times. As he watched the evil shadow slowly crossing the void, The Dark King suddenly let out a cold laugh. If that's the case, dark, demon, reincarnation. Though he felt disdain in his heart, the current situation, with the evil armies rising fighting spirit below and the approaching shadow, caused a manic smile to spread across the Dark King's face. Fear? Terror? These emotions had long since vanished from his senses the moment he became a demon. The dark green demonic power enveloped the Dark King's body, and the sinister demonic energy radiating from him was far more terrifying than the demonic Xiao of the past. Moments later, the Dark King reached out a hand and grasped the air, slowly consolidating the most mysterious and powerful force within this world. The danger it radiated was such that no one in history had ever dared to attempt it. In the Dark King's deep eyes, there were no extraneous emotions. He was above all, filled only with an endless aura of slaughter. The evil robe behind him surged, dark green liquid flowing, and the power of reincarnation within his body, combined with the unique dark energy of this netherworld realm, instantly released three dazzling forces. The Darkness King, truly a madman through and through. Watching the Darkness King's almost destructive actions, even the two protectors couldn't help but feel a deep fear in their eyes. The void in front of them rapidly began to close, and even the evil shadow that tried to retreat seemed to shrink swiftly. It was as if their power was as weak as that of infants in front of the Darkness King. No one knew the true identity of the Darkness King, but one thing was certain. He was the originator of the demonic power. Demonic power. It was such a terrifying force that even the leaders of the extraterritorial realms had no proper way of dealing with it. As greed surged within their hearts, the moment they stayed behind seemed to seal their fate.
No.
The attacks the two protectors summoned with all their might were slowly swallowed by the Darkness King's strongest strike, and a fear that reached deep into their souls radiated from them. Helpless, insignificant, as fragile as dust. It seemed that under the Darkness King's assault, the two of them were powerless, simply waiting for death to arrive. This ruler of the Netherworld was too strong. So strong it was suffocating. Die. Countless demonic forces fled in a panic, and then the cloud cover completely rippled, spreading out like a sticky rain of corpses. The entire realm of darkness vanished without a trace. As for the two protectors and their army, within 10 breaths of time, they were utterly devoured by these demonic creatures, disappearing without a trace. CSI. After wiping out the two protectors, countless evil powers scattered in all directions, only to be greedily absorbed by the evil robe behind the Darkness King. This caused his face to twitch slightly. The pain seemed to reach deep into his bones, into his very soul. It seemed that his relationship with the evil robe was either symbiotic or coexistent. This is the demon realm's divine artifact, the creation demon mirror. Only after completely eradicating them did the Darkness King's calm pupils fixate on a silver-white jade mirror below him. Struggling to move, the moment his hand touched the artifact, the Darkness King's pupils contracted sharply. Etched on it were two indelible gray marks. Xiao Tianming, Thunderlord.